Hello, today we're going to talk about orientation to time. Orientation to time is comforted by your repressed center of intelligence. So that's thinking, feeling, or doing. Each number on the Enneagram has a dominant center of intelligence and a repressed center of intelligence. And if you haven't watched those videos, I recommend you go and give those a quick watch. Otherwise, we will dive right in. So, future oriented are threes, sevens, and eights. 3, 7, and 8s are feeling repressed. And while they all have feelings, they don't process information with feelings, and they tend to put feelings aside in order to achieve what they want. So these numbers are most comfortable in the future because there aren't feelings in the future yet, other than maybe like hope and excitement. And so their reference point is people outside of themselves, other people. They have this unconscious desire to reshape situations and people, which is most doable in the future because you can imagine how you're going to do it and you're not actually in it yet. You don't have to get into all the weeds of a situation. So you can think about how I'm going to have this conversation with this person, it's going to go well. I'm going to ask my boss for a raise and it's going to go well. And an example of this would be a type 7 at work, generating a bunch of ideas, throwing out, what about this? What about this? We should do this. But it's just the generation phase. There's no actual tangible plan or work needing to go with it yet. And so, again, avoiding those weeds and all that it entails. And so it's exciting and fun, very future oriented. And then we have the past. So types 4, 5s, and 9. If you can hear that, that's my cat in the background. I apologize. Types 4, 5s, and 9s are doing repressed, and they're oriented to the past. So these types are very comfortable in the past because they don't have to do anything in the past. It already happened. Their reference point is within themselves. So unlike 3, 7, and 8, who kind of go outside of themselves, they withdraw and look inward. Forget what they missed in the past because they were doing repressed in the past. So, oh yeah, I might have not done that thing that I wanted, but it's not something they're still carrying with them to today because it's already gone. And so an example of that will be type 9s will reminisce on the past and how good those times were, idealizing it, maybe not actually recognizing anything negative that was associated with it. It's just, oh, I can just remember what a nice time that was. And it also distracts me from today and the future. And then lastly, we have types 1, 2s, and 6s, which are present oriented, and they are thinking repressed. So 1s, 2s, and 6s are most comfortable in real time because they don't have to worry about what's already happened or be coming up with a plan for what's going to happen. They can just be here and now. Their reference point is outside of themselves. They focus on others and external situations, which stops them from having to deal with whatever's kind of going on with them. So for example, a type 2 will stop a project that they're working on because someone asked them for help with an unrelated task. And it's like, yep, I can help you. I don't have to worry about this thing that I'm doing. And I'm very in the present moment. So I wanted to talk a little bit also about how orientation to time is influenced by the culture we live in, which is tends to be very fast paced and all about more money, more time, more achievement, whatever it may be. So for 3, 7s, and 8s that are future oriented, they can keep up pretty quickly because they are constantly looking for the future. However, with the feeling repression, they can use this future orientation as an excuse to not be fully present in their emotions and feelings. I have to focus on this. I have to plan for this. I need to make this happen. So I don't have time to deal with my emotions. 4s, 5s, and 9s, the past orientation are already struggling with the pace because they're doing repressed and they feel like there's a lot to do and there's not actually enough time to manage it and get it all done. So the bad thing about this is that they can use the fast-paced culture as an excuse. So like, oh, there's just not enough time. There's just too much. So I can just check out and like zone out and do this unimportant thing instead. And then lastly, 1s, 2s, and 6s, because they're in the present, don't take time to reflect on how their time was spent and are so focused on others wanting to think of them as good and helpful that they will not pause to consider whether something they're doing is actually theirs to do. They'll just jump in and do it in order to be perceived a certain way because that reference point is outside of themselves. very brief info on orientation to time. Hope you learned something from the video, and leave a comment if you have questions.